Today I'm going to be sharing a little bit about our homeschool schedule. So this year I have an 8th grader, a 6th grader, 5th grader, 3rd grader, 1st grader, and a preschooler, as well as a 1-year-old who is running around and making messes while we do school. So here's kind of how we structure our day. My older kids often get up anywhere between 6 and 7, sometimes as late as 7:30, and they do a little bit of their independent work on their own before the little ones are awake. It's a great quiet time for them to get some things done. During the early morning hours, I am teaching ESL online, so I am not upstairs helping them. My older kids are on their own doing some of their work. And then we have breakfast at 8, and then at 8:30 we have about 30 minutes of chore time. We do dishes and laundry and just some general picking up and getting ready for our homeschool day. And we start our homeschool day at 9 with some group school or morning time. And we do some scripture reading, we do some flashcards to review some of our history facts. We read some books. This semester we're doing some apologetics books. Next semester we're going to be doing some life skill things such as etiquette and financial learning about managing our finances and economics. So this semester we're doing more apologetics, learning about creation and evolution, and talking about that, having discussions about that in our morning time. And so we do that for about 30 minutes. And then my oldest, who is my 8th grader, she is done with our kind of 30-minute group time. And she goes off and she starts working on her school independently. And she heads downstairs and gets started. So then I work with my other kids. We do our history together. My oldest has her own history that she does on her own. And she's really passionate about history. So she has something that she does by herself. And I do group history with all of my other kids, and we are studying ancient history this year, so it's been fun to have the discussions with them. So we do that for about 30 minutes, kind of finishing up our history, and then I work with my 6th grader and 5th grader. They do quite a bit of school together, so I actually have 30 minutes of time starting at 10. From 10 to 10:30 I work with them. I usually start with the older one, with my 6th grader, and I just kind of spot check his work. He brings me everything that he did the day before when he worked independently or that morning, and I just check through it. I look at his math and his grammar, and a lot of that he does on his own, but I just kind of spot check it and make sure he's staying on track. And then I do spelling with the two of them. They're at the same level in spelling, so we just do our spelling lesson together. And then he is ready to go off and work on his own and do his independent school. He has a checklist. He knows what he needs to complete, so he is ready to go start working after about 10 minutes or 15 minutes of some time with me. So then I'm able to focus on my 5th grader, and I do math with her during that time. My older two kids have an online math program that they do, so they do that more independently. I'm not the one who is teaching them math right now. So I am, for all of my younger ones, I do math with them. So that gives me time to work with my 5th grader, and I do her math, I check her grammar, and I make sure she is ready to go for her independent work. And then at 10:30 I am done with her, and she is able to go work independently on her own. And then I work next with my 3rd grader. I have about 30 minutes set aside for working with her, and with her I do reading, so her phonics and reading program. I do her spelling, I do her math, and her language arts. So we do that together. That takes us usually about 30-40 minutes. So I work with her, and then she is ready to go do any work that I assign to her during our school time, so she will go work independently. And then next I work with my 1st grader. I usually don't quite finish all of her school before our lunchtime, so I try to start working with her around 11 or a little after 11, and we work for as long as we can. We usually try to eat lunch about 11:30 because we eat such an early dinner. So I work with her for, if I have 30 full minutes or if it's only 15 to 20, I do her reading and phonics, I do her spelling, I do her language arts, and her math. So we work on that together until lunch. My older kids always start preparing lunch while I'm finishing up with my 1st grader. We usually have things that are kind of already prepped the night before, or we're having leftovers or something easy that my older kids are in charge of making. So I'm not in charge of lunch. In my house, my older kids actually are in charge of lunches, and so they get lunch on the table, and then I come downstairs with my 1st grader. and then we have lunch together. I usually do some read alouds during lunch, and then after lunch my older kids all do another round of chores. They help with some dishes and laundry and just some more picking up really quickly. We usually go ahead and pack our bags for our evening activities, whether they have swim practice or golf practice, and we kind of just get ready for the evening. Then I go back upstairs, I finish with my first grader, and then I work with my preschooler. So I kind of do it in reverse age order. I know a lot of people start with the younger ones and work their way up, but I have found it's more efficient if I start with my older kids and work my way down. That way my older ones can have a little meeting time with me, and then they can go off and work independently for the rest of the day, for as long as their schoolwork may take them that day. So they were getting really frustrated when I would start with the younger ones, and then after an hour of them working independently, it would be their time with me, so they would have to stop in the middle of what they were working on and come work with me, and then try to get back into what they were doing and still have the other work that I assigned to them. So it's been just a lot more efficient and faster if I just start with my older ones and work my way down. So I do work with my preschooler after lunch, which is challenging for her to wait that long, but it does give her the morning to play, and so she feels like she's had a lot of time being able to play, and she's usually ready for school kind of after lunch. So our goal is to be done with school before 2, and we're usually done by 1 or 1:30, and then my kids can finish any independent work. They do their piano practice, and they have their silent reading time. We try to have them read at least 20 minutes a day every day, so that's something that they have to do in addition to any other school work that they have. They have to have that 20-minute time of reading. And then we usually just have some playtime in the afternoon. That's my time to kind of relax and take a short break while the baby naps. In the afternoon, my kids are working independently, and I can have a little bit of a break, some time to myself to read or just relax before we start our evening activities. So we actually eat dinner at 4:30. We start prepping at 4, and then that way we can get to our swim or golf, whatever activities we have that evening. So that's kind of our day. I know it's a little backwards from how a lot of homeschoolers do it, but I actually do start with my older ones, and that's been really efficient and has worked really well. So that's kind of my little school day. We're usually doing school from 9 till about 1:30 or 2 at the latest. We're taking a little 30-minute break for lunch, and then my kids have independent work that they might do from 2 to 4. It usually doesn't take them that long. They're able to get a lot of it done during the morning while I'm working with other siblings. So there's a little glimpse into our homeschool routine from a mom of 7. It is really busy. I am really busy teaching them from 9 until about 1:30 or 2. I don't really get much of a break, so it is really busy, but we're really glad that we can kind of condense things and get things done by 2, so that we can have some kind of free time in the afternoon. We all really look forward to our free time.